Hello, everyone. We should be live now. Welcome to the pre-concert conversation for the ONNY Holiday concert bringing home the sounds of the season. I am Kevin Engstead. I'm the website and technology director for the orchestra, and I will let everyone else here on this call introduce themselves to you. We just have a informal chat planned for tonight, and you are welcome to write to us in the chats, ask us questions, send us holiday greetings, and we will just have a conversation about what the year has been for ONNY and what's to come.
Maestro, why don't you start with the introductions?
My name is Ken Andrews. I'm music director for the orchestra.
I'm Jill Rubio. I'm the personnel manager and principal flutist of the orchestra.
I'm Charles Guy. I'm the principal tuba player, players liaison to the board of directors.
I'm Kimberly Bush, the president of the board of directors for the orchestra.
I am Rebecca Weissman. I am on the board of directors and I am the social media coordinator.
So we all are delighted to be here tonight with all of you. And this year has not looked anything like, I think, what any of us might have hoped or would have expected. But here we are. We have a holiday concert for you airing on WPBS TV out of Watertown this evening at 9 p.m. So that gives you about 30 minutes after we finish this chat here to get yourself situated. If you go to ONNY.org, you will be able to find a digital program that you can download to watch along with the concert presentation. And we had a slight miscommunication about the live stream availability for WPBS, but we were able to resolve that in time, and you will be able to, if you are outside of the WPBS viewing area, be able to watch the live stream of the concert from our website, ONNY.org. We will provide a link to a live stream that you can watch if you are joining us from outside of the region. And so we're gonna have a chat here. I know, Ken, you're used to programming for live concerts. How has this been different for us here with the online format?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, this concert's totally different from the ones when we usually do full orchestra concerts. It's really not as much a difference in terms of online versus live, but more the type of concert that it represents. Because we couldn't do a full orchestra for this year, we decided to do a chamber format. And we worked this out. Actually, the program committee, the new program committee of the orchestra, did a great job throwing ideas around and discussing this. And Chuck Guy, actually, besides what he said he does, he's also our chairman for this committee. And the challenge for this was that the group had to first find works that they could do for their particular ensembles, whether that's a flute and guitar duo or a trio or quartet. You had to find literature that would work for the group. After they did this, this was really great. They all put this on a master list, and then they all discussed either through our program committee or with through the groups, what those groups would each like to do, but in order to make a really good variety of holiday music for this program. After they came up with this list, then it was given to me. I put it in a format, an order format, and then got comments back from the program committee and also the musicians. And Chuck was great about directing all of that with the different groups. And then that final list was performed, it was sent on. The difference when we have 20 to 70 players in a concert, that when we actually do regular concerts, is that I get a lot of input, I have for 30 years, from various sources, from musicians, audience members, others I know through the field, and people who donate music through our music donation program. I even get stopped on the street by people giving me ideas about things that we could do. And plus the concerts I've tried to put together and I keep running over the years of different programs we could do. And I try to work those suggestions then into it. After that point, that is then submitted to the board. My season is submitted to the board, and then they vote on whether they accept it. So you can see it's very different to do a chamber program, because at first is a question of what pieces they can do and find for this combination for holiday music, and then how you make the mix work. So I thought it was great, and I thought it worked well. And the groups did a great job picking out music and working together. So.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to really enjoy this concert this season. I've gotten to see some previews of it, and I think it's just going to be great. Now, Chuck, you've been interacting with the musicians quite a bit to produce this concert and get the content. How have the musicians been responsive to doing all these sorts of online programs that we've done through ONNY?
Absolutely. It's been really interesting to connect with my colleagues. Some of them I don't get to see at all since ONNY has been shuttered from the stage, but it's been great to kind of connect with them and see what they're up to. And you know, some of the things that Ken was talking about with programming for this concert, it was super easy to get people to say, well, yeah, we'll do anything. You know, obviously I'm playing in the Potsdam Brass Quintet, which you'll hear tonight, and you know, the thought of programming for this, we're like, well, what do you want? You know, because we've got so many things that we've done through the years available to us. You know, so that was fun, and we got to pick a couple of our favorites. So that was really nice. And then to connect with our woodwind friends and the string quartet was great. And then obviously, I think you all are going to love to hear Donald George sing tonight too. So it's really been great to just you know, feel like a musician again after this really weird year of not being able to collaborate. And obviously it's not the same as playing in a 80-piece orchestra, but it's a lot of fun just to put something together and feel part of the team again.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's been great being able to find creative ways to share musical talent despite not being able to get together. And I know we're super grateful to have Rebecca on board here. Rebecca Weissman is our social media savant who has been keeping everyone up to date with what's going on online with various things. And so how has this been a good time for social media, Rebecca, or has it been difficult, or how have we made the most of 2020?
That was not very savvy. My mic was muted. So it has been a wonderful time. I think that our followers are engaged with us just as much now as they were in the past. But I think that just since everybody is kind of confined to their homes, it creates more of a togetherness that I think we have as a community. And I know we've had a lot of activity on Instagram as well. Facebook has been terrific. We have a large group of followers all over the country. So thank you all for following us on Facebook. Don't ever be shy if you have comments that you would like to share with us about the orchestra, things you'd like to see, things you'd like to hear more of, things you would like us to do. Please feel free to voice your
folks here. We may have had run into an issue here with our audio stream, which we may pause here in our conversation briefly so that I can try to get the audio from all of our participants back here. Again, I apologize for this, and we will try to get this back so we can have a bit more of a chat before the concert starts here in a moment. So we'll be right back with folks. All right, and I believe we are back. So, if somebody would kindly, who's watching us live right now, once we get to chatting again, let us know if you can hear everyone that you can see on the screen. That would be delightful. I apologize, our audio quality might be a little bit lower right now, but we'll try to get that resolved in time for the concert live stream, where the audio is significantly more important than listening to us all chat here. But we left off with Rebecca talking a little bit about social media and indeed discovered, I was seeing in our chat, we have somebody watching us from Northern Indiana right now who said hello. And so, Kimberly, you came on board here with the orchestra as the president this year. It's quite a interesting year, I imagine. So how has the experience been?
Yeah, I think when I talked with Tim Savage and he asked me about becoming president, this was something we talked about a year or so ago. I would love to do that. It would be such an honor to have a live pandemic. So just a phone, it's such an amazing organization. The board is so engaged, and it's just an amazing group of people to work with. So I still feel quite honored to be able to work with them.
Excellent. Thanks, Kimberly. And I know we have not had ticket sales as a result of no live concerts. So do you have any recommendations on how members of the ONNY family can support the orchestra during this time?
Absolutely. It's just unprecedented times, and I know we hear that all the time on the news. My other full-time gig is that I'm a public school music teacher in the North Country, Kansas Central School, and it's just everything is so unpredictable, and in the North Country, because there's always this feeling of we got each other's backs, and I really hope that that's true when it comes to the Orchestra of Northern New York, because we rely on ticket sales. I mean, we have some grants that help us fund our season, but and we have amazing sponsors, but we also need the ticket sales, and to not be able to do a live concert is difficult for the musicians. It's difficult for the maestro, but it's also difficult financially. So we are very much hoping that the people who are tuning in this evening will think about that and say, the Orchestra of Northern New York is worth supporting. And it doesn't need to be a lot of money. If you can, if you like what you see tonight on WPBS in Watertown or on our website, if you can even donate $20, that would go a long way in making sure that we're around in the spring to continue. This orchestra was started out of the trunk of Maestro Kenneth Andrews' car 32 years ago, and I don't want to see it end with a pandemic. I wanted to see it prosper, to live on, and continue to bring quality music to the North Country. And there's just so many wonderful things going on with this board and this organization, but we do need we need the money to make that happen. So if you can at all, and possibly year-end donations, you might be looking at your checkbook and saying, maybe I do have a spare $25, $50 that I could donate to a worthy cause. We hope that you'll consider us a worthy cause to make that donation by year end. So I guess that's what I would say is I so appreciate living in the North Country and being a part of this community, and I hope that they appreciate what they're going to see tonight. I think it's going to be wonderful. I wish I could give you those big choirs of high school students as we have in the past couple of years, but when it's safe, we'll think about that again. But right now, we need to keep each other safe, and that's the prime directive here, is to keep people safe and to provide music to them.
I was just going to say, Kimberly, what we all found, the board, all of us found that putting things online, and we've got so many wonderful programs, but it's been a lot more expensive than we ever even dreamed. Even though Kathy Deljudas, our executive director, is a guru for figuring all this stuff out, it's really been even a surprise to all of us about just how much money it takes to put programs such as the holiday concert or the Beyond the Stage, and all of this is very expensive. So it's.
And I'm thinking that, people in the audience might be saying to themselves, well, they're not doing concerts, so they don't need to pay the musicians, so what's the problem? Well, we did pay the musicians, not nearly as much as anybody on the board would have liked to have paid the musicians for this holiday program. We did pay them something, but the bottom line is, if there's no ticket sales coming in, that's a main source of revenue for us. And if we can't sell tickets, we have to depend on donations. And that's just where we are.
So yes, I hope folks will consider donating. ONNY.org/donate will take you directly to an online donation form. Now, Jill, unfortunately, you've been quiet so far, but I know you've performing in this concert with multiple groups. And I also know that for one of those groups, you are sitting miles away from all of your fellow musicians. How is that? What's the experience like for playing so far away from everyone?
Well, it's definitely different than the experience that we have when we're sitting as a woodwind section in the orchestra, that's for sure. It's a little bit harder to hear everybody, although I will say that the acoustic shells that are behind us do serve to bring everyone's sound in a little bit. But yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. And my husband and I also played in Hosmer Hall at the beginning of the semester for a gala where most of the performers were sent their things in previously, but we played live, and we played farther than the required amount of distance. And it was a challenge too, but we make things work. So it's fun, and I'm just thrilled to be able to play live with anybody. It's it really is wonderful to play with Carol and Julianne, and of course with my husband. But Doug and I have been playing a few things on streamed concerts through the pandemic, so we've done a few of these. But it's special to play for ONNY.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't even imagine what that's got to be like. So thank you all for working through this, being creative, the creativity that's been needed for this year for everything to be so successful. It just blows me away.
I have a question for Kevin and for Rebecca, and that is, both of you are musicians. Rebecca was trained professionally as a musician, and her path took her and Kevin, you're also a musician, and now you're working with us in terms of websites and social media. How does it feel as musicians to be doing what you're doing this way with the orchestra?
I guess I will go ahead and answer that. It's actually quite easy because it's just technology applied to something that we do every day. I know for myself, every day I wake up and I am a clarinetist. That never changes. So it actually makes it easier to do this type of work for the orchestra because we are musicians through and through. It's much easier to do this type of work for the orchestra than, say, a lumber company, where every time you would have to create content, you have to research and you have to know what you're talking about. But this is just very natural. Before ONNY, I was communications director at Vern Q. Powell Flutes, and that was a lot of fun too because, again, it's a musical instrument company. As a clarinetist, I did have to learn a lot, to create content and do a lot of work. But with the orchestra, it's just, it's very natural.
Yeah, and I'd have to second that having background in music makes my job so much easier because I don't have to turn to somebody all of the time to actually find out like what would be reasonable, what would people want. I can at least give an initial idea and say, this sounds like this might be a useful way for us to capitalize on our technology. What do you all think? And so, for example, we're having one of these pre-concert conversations live streamed tonight. This is just one example of trying to come up with ways to make the best of the situation, but possibly discover new things that we can do going into the future to engage with people, especially as we know our reach has gone beyond just the North Country. And so I think technology doesn't have to be a thing in itself, but having it is really important, and it's something that we can use to further our creative mission. And we are just about out of time here, so we might conclude before we let folks get settled in for the concert. Reminder, WPBS 9 p.m. also available on our website with a live stream. There is a digital concert program on our website that you can use. And please donate to help support this. Everyone on the call, what's your favorite musical moment from 2020?
It's going to sound a little silly, but I'm going to say it anyways because it's very, very pandemic appropriate, and it's, I think there was one moment when I was able to take my select choir outside in the fall and September, October time when it was still decent weather outside, and they still wore their masks. We were very safe about it, but we were able to sing out loudly enough so that they could actually hear each other again. And it was magical. It was just, it kind of brought tears to my eyes because I thought, oh my gosh, you know, these are my kids singing, and we haven't been able to hear each other for quite some time. As you know, the public schools were not in session most of the spring, and that was the first time that we got to hear each other's voices again, really, and it was just special.
There are two things that hit me. One was that our last live event was the Young Artist Competition after our holiday concert last year, and that's a very favorite thing because I love the Young Artist Competition, and it was the last chance we had to really do something on stage live. But the other thing I've really enjoyed is listening to Beyond the Stage on our website with our musicians who just had this wonderful opportunity, and you'll hear Chuck and Jill and everyone on there who are playing pieces that are dear to them, solo-wise and in different locations. Gretchen, Kohler, all a raft of musicians from the orchestra. So I hope you'll all tune into that.
Yeah, my favorite memory from this year, many of you know that 3 of the members of the Potsdam Brass Quintet retired this past year, and so I got 3 new colleagues, which you'll see tonight. But I think probably the most memorable moment for me was my first rehearsal with the new PBQ, and we obviously had to follow safety protocols, and the easiest way for us to hold our first rehearsal was in a tent outside of Crane, and it was raining at the time, and we sat down, still distanced at least 6 or 8 feet. I'm not sure if we were following every single protocol the way that we do now, which we're at 12 feet now, but we were spaced pretty far apart, rain coming down, and we sat and we played a piece that we performed on the gala performance at Crane together, and it felt right. Just from the very beginning, it just felt good, other than the fact that they were too far away from me and I couldn't hear as well because there's rain falling on my tent. So, but yeah, that was my memorable moment.
I suppose my most memorable moments have been in the public school like Kimberly, I'm a public school music teacher at Potsdam Central, and middle school and high school are different situations, but I think in both cases, the students who are present, in person, are doing some playing. Although in the middle school it's just very small groups, and the high school it's maybe 10 people at a time. And we're able to kind of make it work with masks and bags over the instruments, and 12 feet apart, the whole thing. It's satisfying that they're getting to play together. We did a simple arrangement of Let It Be in the high school, and I think that was actually pretty meaningful because, there's not much we can do in this pandemic except roll with it and improvise in a way and make it work until things are better. So we keep making music.
I'll just add that I can't really pick one favorite moment, but I have just loved seeing musicians in their homes performing and sharing their craft with the rest of the world in this medium while we're all kind of in cyberspace together. I just think that that's so special, and to see everybody on kind of even playing field, no matter if you're incredibly famous and well known, or you're just maybe not as famous to the world. It's just nice to see everybody inviting the public into their homes to see them perform, practice, see their routine.
I think those are all great moments from 2020 music. So I think that's a great spot for us to end this conversation on. We want to thank everyone who joined this inaugural stream from us. I hope it was as enjoyable for all of you watching as it was for us participating. And with that, we'll wish you happy holidays, and we hope that you enjoy the concert tonight at 9.